Being the youngest, being Dad's little baby boy, I was lucky to have a lot of personal time with him, and we did a lot of stuff together in the last 2 years of high school. Dad was the obvious choice to be the best man at my wedding. He always treated my wife Lori as his own daughter, and treated my boys Brandon and Brett like gold. Dad was good to each and every member of our very large family. He did so much for all of us. All of the news he helped out on, watching kids, loaning money, fixing cars, giving advice, keeping Allie her dog, and letting kids and families stay with him and Mom while getting back on their feet. Dad and Mom traveled all over the country and made it a priority to visit all of our families. They tried to come to every big event in our lives. They visited Glory the Boys and I numerous times at 8 of our 9 duty stations. He couldn't quite figure out how to get the overhead with his hand by the road, so he waited for us to come home every year while I was stationed there. Just this year, they came to Ashley, Brandon, and Eva's high school graduations, Anna's college graduation, and 2 military graduations. Dad was very patriotic and proud of the military. He shed a tear at every military event he attended, my commissioning, my promotion, and Megan, Jared, and Brandon's basic training graduation. Now remember how Dad was always there no matter what. He remembered how Dad came to the rescue and helped out when James had a seizure, and when Andrew collapsed from low blood sugar. He talked of Dad's tremendous love for all of his kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. Matt said he was the best man, father, and grandfather we could have ever asked for. You're right. Matt and he would always help each other out with cars and just about anything else. They were great buddies. Tina's fondest memories of Dad were of him helping her out with her many difficulties. She remembers how Dad would come to her house every morning after Ashley had her first brain surgery. He'd get down on his hands and knees and crawl around with her until she learned to walk again. When Ashley had monthly chemo treatments in North Carolina, Dad would go down there for 3 weeks out of every month to take care of Amber and Kate. He'd get the girls off to school and would then go to the hospital to spend the day with Tina and Ashley. Ashley and Dad had a special bond. They had a connection, and they had that connection for Ashley's entire life. Whenever Ashley would come up here or Dad would go down there, she was by his side nonstop. Every morning they would get up and they would go to breakfast together. They shared their special moments. Last month when Tina and Mike were here, Ashley had to stay with Grandpa the whole time he was here. Tina was grateful for the outstanding example Dad was to all of us, and how he did such a great job of teaching us right from wrong. Tina looks to Dad as her best friend. Connor remembers how Dad could do anything, whether it was fixing bikes or making costumes for her 3rd grade play. He took her math book to the firehouse and made a perfect life-size replica for her to wear in the play. She was so excited when she saw the costume, but was a little disappointed because Dad was going to be on duty at the firehouse the night of the play. As she was getting ready to go out on stage, she looked out in the audience and was thrilled when she saw Dad sitting in the back of the gym in his pretty blue firefighter uniform. Connie also remembers asking Dad what to do when she was going to pour concrete to the boys' basketball net. Instead of telling her, Dad jumped in the car, drove to Iowa, and spent a week helping his friends pour the pad. Connie also recalled that Dad has always been consistent and never wavering in doing what was right, no matter what the circumstance. He faithfully paid his tithing, and things always seemed to work out. She followed his example, and now her kids are following her example, and things seem to work out. Karen remembers how Dad was always there for her when she needed him. Sometimes he just needed to step out the back door, and sometimes he would drive thousands of miles to help her. One of her fondest memories of Dad was when he actually lied for her. She was in the yard doing her homework, and sunbathing when an ex-boyfriend rode up on his bike. Dad happened to look out the window and see where she was uncomfortable. He stepped out the back door and yelled that it was time for her to come in and eat dinner. She was extremely happy to hurry in the house and fix it. Dad pulled her out numerous times when her trips to and from seminary landed her in the ditch. Happened to be one ditch. Thought I could pass on ice. He also helped her when she landed in front of a Dayton pawn shop when the bus route ended several miles before she expected. He and Mom drove to Arizona for Karen's wedding, and Dad gave her a special father's blessing that changed her life. In that blessing, he was advised to attend the temple every week. Without that guidance, she said she would not have gained a testimony, love, and appreciation for temple service. He and Mom drove to Utah once for her college graduation, blessing of Julie, and another time for Bob's college graduation. Dad moved Karen and her family back to Ohio and helped her move 2 other times. He was there for 7 of her children's baby blessings, all 8 baptisms and confirmations, and 4 high school graduations, and numerous other things that I've already mentioned. Dad always remembered her birthday. In fact, he remembered every child, grandchild, and great-grandchild's birthday. We could always count on the card and the phone call. Dad wasn't just good to the family. He was also good to all of his friends, co-workers, and church family. Dad was a faithful servant who always quietly took care of business. He liked taking care of people. He'd take friends to lunch and was always willing to lend a helping hand when needed. He home taught a family for 20 years and ensured their funerals were taken care of when they both passed away. Mom also remembered the trip they took to Cleveland to look for an antique car. They looked at numerous cars, but something happened when he found a Packard business Jeep. They got in the car, and Dad told Mom he knew for some reason he needed to buy it, even though it wasn't his favorite car. When he went back to pick the car up, the gentleman who owned it said he had just found out he was terminally ill and only had a few more weeks to live. Dad felt good about the money he spent that day. The man was so grateful, and Dad's actions gave him a little peace and comfort knowing it would help his wife with her future needs. Dad was very attuned to the Spirit, and this was just one of the many instances where he listened when something special happened. Our family has shed many tears this week from the outpouring of love and compassion we've received from everyone. The constant food deliveries, phone calls, and visits have been phenomenal. Many thanks to everyone for the compassion and great care. Dad will sorely be missed. We wish we had more time with him here on earth, but we're grateful for the precious time we did have. He deeply touched so many lives. We know he's in heaven, and he's enjoying being in the presence of the Lord with his family and friends who've already returned home. Dad, we love and miss you, and are grateful for everything you did for us. You were a quiet warrior, a dedicated and humble servant, and a shining example for all. And these things I say in the name of thy Son,